So they're having a big summit here in Los Angeles, actually. So maybe there should be a protest or something. Mexican president unlikely to attend the Summit of the Americas in Los Angeles next month. So it's this month, actually, in June.
Oh, they're also in OPEC Plus, too, by the way.
Mexico's in OPEC Plus?
Mm-hmm. I went and looked it up on the thing.
Despite a major U.S. lobbying effort, the president of Mexico hinted strongly on Friday that he will, that's how they say it, that, that he will not attend. I don't know if you've ever been to Mexico City, but I have. He will not attend a high-stakes regional summit next month in Los Angeles. That's how they say it. Because I'm here. I live in Los Angeles, and I know. The Biden administration refuses to invite a trio of leftist governments. All right, let me read that again without messing around. Despite a major U.S. lobbying effort, the president of Mexico hinted strongly on Friday that he will not attend a high-stakes regional summit next month in Los Angeles because the Biden administration refuses to invite a trio of leftist governments. I wonder what that trio would be. I'm guessing one of the branches of that trio would be Cuba. I'm going to guess Cuba. Okay, how about Nicaragua? Mexico is arguably the most important Latin American participant in the upcoming Summit of the Americas, and boy, have I argued with people about that many times. Which administration officials have said will include a special focus, a Ford focus on immigration. It starts June 6th, so that's really soon. In his daily marathon press conference, President Manuel López Obrador said, that's the Mexican version of James Patrick Anthony Dore, said he was still awaiting a response from President Biden or the U.S. State Department to his demand that all countries in the Western Hemisphere be invited. Not happening. We can't have Cuba. Every host nation for the summit, which occurs every 3 or 4 years, has discretion in drawing up the guest list. And most, if not all, countries are routinely included. This is the first time the summit is taking place in the U.S. since 1994 inaugural session in Miami. And it was so close to Cuba. They're just doing that to piss them off. Administration officials have made it clear that they will not invite Venezuela, Nicaragua, because those countries' authoritarian leaders do not represent the model of democracy. The model of democracy that Washington and others in the region seek to promote. You know, the model of democracy that turns your country into the world's biggest penal institution while bankrupting all the workers. You know that. U.S. officials also said initially they would not invite Cuba, then suggested they might welcome a low-level delegation from Havana. Now, why do you think they're so pissed off about Nicaragua and Venezuela, Jackson?
Well, they're pissed off because Venezuela won't open up their oil reserves for the United States right now, and they're refusing to do business, and they have nationalized oil, which also pisses off the United States. As for Nicaragua, there's a list you could go through. Most recently, they just refused to recognize Taiwan as a country, but they flat out reject the presidency of Daniel Ortega. They say that he's not the president. He was an illegitimate victory.
Oh, they still recognize Juan Guaido.
That's in Venezuela. They don't recognize Nicaragua's elections either.
Oh, that's right. That's Venezuela. That's right. That's right. So, who's the president of Venezuela?
Nicolas Maduro. And then Nicaragua is Daniel Ortega.
Daniel Ortega. I love his tacos. I love his taco shells. They make the best. Okay, there's more to this story. U.S. officials also said they would initially get a low-level delegation from Havana. A diminished status did not appeal to Cuban officials, however, and President Miguel Diaz-Canel said earlier this week he will not attend.
What does that mean, low-level delegation? Like you can't send somebody important?
Yes, so they don't want anybody who would get press. right? So they don't want the president.
Oh.
They don't want President Miguel Diaz-Canal, who also his cousin. This is Miguel Panama Canal. Come on, Jimmy, stop it with the word games.
So he said he will not attend. Well, you already weren't invited, Miguel.
Yeah. Sorry,
You said low level.
that we said low level. Cuba, or you said Cuba. Cuba was present at the last two summits of the Americas in Panama and Peru. In Panama in 2015, then President Obama famously shook hands with then President Raul Castro, the first such contact between Cold War enemies in decades. Wow, remember that? It's probably embarrassing for him.
I have a question.
Sure.
After Trump said, went back on that and was like, Cuba, you're on the shit list again. Did Biden end that Trump thing about Cuba, or is that still in effect?
No, I think it's still in effect. Pretty sure.
I didn't even do that.
He didn't even do that. No, it's
Does that mean that after the hard working day at the Summit of Americas, all these foreign leaders don't get to smoke Cuban cigars?
right.
It's a
Well, that's why
travesty.
they wanted those low-level people to come and bring them some cigars.
Fellas, we're gonna have to settle for Dominican cigars. I'm sorry.
Months later, Washington and Havana opened diplomatic ties and began a warming of trade and travel relations not seen for. This is after Obama shook hands with. The opening was frozen by Trump and has only haltingly and in minor ways been renewed by Biden, despite his promise as a presidential candidate. Another promise broken by Joe Biden. López Obrador, a consummate showman, just like they call him the Liberace of Mexico. I don't know if you know that. López Obrador, a consummate showman and closeted, deliberately did not commit in his remarks Friday morning, but ultimately made clear he would not attend if Cuba, Venezuela, and Nicaragua were not invited. Instead, he would send a delegate, most likely his more U.S.-friendly Foreign Secretary, Marcelo Ebrard. Hang on. I have a note here I want to read. Would a U.S. press outlet ever say something like that about a U.S. ally doing our bidding, like Trudeau or Macron? Oh, I don't know. Good point. We are going to wait to see what they, the U.S. officials, decide. But regardless, Mexico will participate, the president said. It's just that I will not attend if all countries are not invited. Oh, huh? How much do you want them? He added, what is this supposed to be? The Summit of the Americas or the Summit of the Friends of America?
Well, that's a good question.
That's very well. Well, look at him turning a phrase. López Obrador, a leftist populist who himself has started displaying certain authoritarian tendencies, also suggested the summit be used to find a replacement for the Organization of American States, the largest regional body that some see as being pro-United States. Some see? Oh, this is from the LA Times. Yeah, some see? How about it's run? He proposed a new body that represents all countries equally and is not an appendage of the great powers.
Why would it not be pro-United States? Like, why would they even put that as a, like, some people think it's pro-United States. Like, isn't it going to obviously be pro-United States if it's a club we made to have the, like...
But they're saying that it's biased in favor of the United States over the rest of the countries in the region. That's what they mean.
Don't we have a whole doctrine that we say what happens in this region? Like
This is the might makes right doctrine is what you're talking about. As things stand, he said, the OAS, or the Organization of American States, with headquarters in Washington, is a joke, a humiliation. That's what López Obrador said. Opinion. This is from Market Watch. The OAS lied to the public about the Bolivian election and coup. Mexico offers Julian Assange asylum for a second time. Did you know that, Jackson?
Yeah, those are the authoritarian policies of AMLO that they were referring to, I think.
I think so.
The same thing, dude. what is his authoritarian tendencies that he's been doing?
AMLO is also not a big COVID lockdown nut like Gavin Newsom. That might be a little bit authoritarian of him as well.
I saw the president of Mexico tell people in the middle of the COVID lockdowns to be skeptical of big pharma.
Yep.
And to not be repeating the big pharma propaganda. And he was against the lockdowns, you say, Jackson?
Yeah, he was against a lot of things that would seem like the norm in the United States with regard to how people handled COVID.
I like this guy more and more. This López Obrador. Or do you say Andrés Manuel López Obrador? I like it. Okay, so there you go. We'll see what happens. Fingers crossed that he comes to the United States and I get a glimpse of him leaving his black Suburban. Here we're doing stand-up comedy in Irvine, California, Las Vegas, San Diego, Salt Lake City, Indianapolis, Louisville, all over the place. Go to jimmydorecomedy.com for a link for tickets.